Shalom, 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 yasha'Allah. This your boy, Brother Shem Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called The Hatred for the Whore. The Hatred for the Whore. All right. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and His only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right. In the Holy Spirit, which is the Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. All right. Like I said, today's lesson is the hatred for the whore. Okay. And I just got this article, right? And we know they've been talking about it. But this is from Readers. It says Trump recommends 50% tariff on the European Union starting June 1st. All right. So it says President Donald Trump said on Friday that he is recommending a straight 50% tariff on goods from the European Union starting on June 1st, saying the EU has been hard to deal with on trade. All right. It says the European Union, which was formed for the primary purpose of taking advantage of the United States on trade, has been very difficult to deal with, Trump said on Truth Social. Our discussions with them are going nowhere. All right. So, this is just going to be more, this that hatred, the 10 horns, right, which is the European Union, are going to have for this whore. All right. And we go to, a little chart here. All right. The 7 beasts, right. And the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns, right? And we're going to go to the 10 horns real quick, right? And you see the 10 horns right over here to the right. All right, you have Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, and West Germany. Okay, they represent the European Union, right? Know it with the ECC, which is known as the European Union, and ultimately the 10 horns. Okay, the 10 horns, and we know now that the European Union has grown. I believe it's like 26 countries. To this point, right? But ultimately, we know, and you see how, Nero, which is running the whore, which is Babylon, right? And you see how the scriptures play out, all right? They say they shall hate the whore, okay? And let's get that. Matter of fact, let's go, let's get that real quick, right? Like I say, it's not going to be too long, right? But this is, all playing, itself out, okay? Matter of fact, before I get that, let's go to the book of Isaiah, right? Book of Isaiah, chapter 55, and verse number 11. It says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. All right. Another one, right? Let's get, Salakia. No, we don't have to get that, Salakia. We won't get that. That's fine. But it says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Okay. And these are the words of prophecy. Okay. Matter of fact, I believe we can go here. Revelation 22 And let's see. Salakia. Trying to see if that's it. If that's what I wanted. Oh, Salakia. It's Revelation 1 and 3, right? It says, Revelation chapter 1, verse 3, it says, "Blessed is he that readeth, and that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." Right? And we're at that time. We're at the time of the end. All right, where these prophecies are speaking and they're being told. All right. So you charging that 50%, tariff, starting what in a basically in a few more days. All right. You're pushing that hatred, all right, for the whore, talking about Nero, right, and the whore, right, and we know the whore. Let's get that real quick. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 18, it says, "The woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth." Okay. So that great city, right, is talking about Babylon, right? If you have ears to hear and eyes to see, Babylon is AKA, spiritual Sodom and Egypt, right? Modern day Egypt, Babylon, daughter of Babylon, AKA America, okay? Just to put it point blank, okay? But it says, matter of fact, verse number 12, it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as of yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." Okay, because this is a prophecy. Okay, and back then, right, they hadn't been in rulership. Okay, so now they're in that time, right? It says, let's jump down to verse number 16, and it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." All right. And you got your boy Nero implementing, 50% tariffs on all these goods, right? These were allies, right, of this place. And now, right, they can't stand her, right? 50%, right? Starting in just a few more days. It says, "And the 10 whores which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Right? How? With those ICBM missiles. Okay? So these are the things, right, we see with the prophecies playing out. All right? The hating of the whore. All right? Where they were living deliciously. Right? Matter of fact, let's get 18. Right? It says, Revelation 18 verse 3, it says, "For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her." Right? "And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." Right? Because this place loves to consume. Right? And these nations were getting rich off this place. Right? But here's Nero coming in and, implementing these tariffs and these different things, right? And it's causing rifts, between, not only his enemies, but also the allies, all right? To the point where they're going to hate this whore, all right? You're messing up their money, all right? And they don't like that. They don't respect that. So what are they going to be doing? Right? The scriptures tell you that they're going to be shooting the arrows at Babylon, right? They're going to try to completely, not try, but they are, right? They're going to destroy this place, right? The scriptures say for 1 hour. All right. It says, let's see. Let's see. Let's jump to verse number 7. It says, "How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow." Right? And that's the pride, of this country, right? And the whore, right? She's prideful, right? And she thinks she can't be touched, right? It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, the Most High Power, who judgeth her. Okay, and the Lord, is putting that spirit, upon Nero and upon these other nations. Okay, so when the time comes, right, a prophecy is going to be fulfilled. Right, that's why it says, so shall my word go out and shall not come back to me void. All right, I was going to get 2 Esdras 15, right? These books, right? Write in these books, and teach them to my people. These things are faithful and true, right? They're going to happen. All right. And we can literally read the scriptures and watch it play out, right? We see the hating of the whore, all right? and June 1st comes, right? And Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's will, right? They implement it, right? We're going to see, the hatred get turned up, okay? Ultimately to the point where we know, we're getting to this point that we're at the end. All right. The next push is going to be this MOTB, Revelation 13 and 16. Okay. Revelation 13 and 16 and 17. All right. And then once that's done, right, everything is going to go quickly. Right. And then soon this whore will be caught on fire. Right. And ultimately destroyed. Right. And the scriptures say in 1 hour. Right. It says, verse number 9, it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Okay, because in 1 hour this place is going to be completely destroyed. And who's going to help? Right, the European Union, right, the 10 horns. They're gonna help burn this place utterly with fire. Okay, and ultimately, because Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is gonna put it on the spirit of these other nations, right, starting with Gog or Russia, all right, and their allies, all right, and of course even Babylon or America's allies are going to do the same. Okay, and burn her. Said it burns her flesh with fire, right? It's talking about those ICBM missiles, those nuclear warheads, okay, at the end of the day, all right? But it's that continued hatred, and we see it happening, all right? Let's get that again. And the 10 horns, this is Revelation 17 and 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, right? Because it's going to be, this is what John the Revelator saw, was that lake of fire, okay? A Babylon on fire from one coast to the other coast, completely engulfed in flames, all right? Nuclear destruction, okay? If you would say, it says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, okay? That's why it says in 2 Peter, the elements shall burn with a fervent heat. Okay, that's the type of heat that's coming, right? When you read when you watch the videos of these nuclear weapons, right? It says that the impact and the heat and the brightness, right? It says is hotter than the sun at points. Okay, this is a very high heat, high intensity, and a destruction. That's why it talks about the waster. Okay, Isaiah 54 and 16. Okay, but I just wanted to do this quick lesson, right? Because it says June 1st. It's supposed to be, the implementation of the 50% tariffs, right, on the EU. All right, which is the 10 horns spoke about. All right, in the scriptures. All right, so hey, all going according to plan. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's will just continues to play out, and soon enough, we're out of here, right? We're not waiting no 20, 30 years like some of these people say, man. We're almost out of here, all right? And the Lord has continued to have his prophecies continue to be fulfilled, all right? So I just wanted to do this quick lesson, right? The Lord's will, this was edifying, right? With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say call Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rachach. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad, a mighty shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect. Stay diligent, stay focused, right? Keep watching, all right? Keep watching, and being that watchman, of these prophecies and these things, all right, that we continue to warn the people, all right? And what we say, a ball, and shalom.